Hello, this is Neville with today's daily devotional. The title of today's devotional is When I Mess Up, Does Jesus Care? Some other possible titles from John 21, looking at the life of Peter, how after his betrayal of Jesus, Jesus restores him, is Do You Love Me? Loving the Bride, Focus, and A Second Chance. Looking at your own life, looking at the times you messed up, maybe you're wondering, does Jesus care? Some more ideas that come out of the text: fish, love, dress, Simon, and so on. And then looking at other people in the Bible who have had trials similar to what you've faced and similar to what Peter has faced. And then finally, the outline Bible. Does Jesus care when I mess up? I like the outline Bible's outlines, as you know. The fishermen of the sea, the disciples, the decision, and then the fisher of men on the shore is where we want to focus today. We'll find the call, the command, the catch, the comprehension. Think about when you messed up. How did Jesus reach you? I know he was calling. However, you might not have heard him. You might not have recognized him. But he was reaching out through some person or some event. He was trying to reach out to you. And it probably was very obvious if you had been looking for it. We see Jesus calling. He's standing there. He's unrecognized, but yet Jesus calls out, asking if they caught any fish. They reply they have not. How on earth could they have made the connection of fishing all night, and that's actually Jesus? You see, when you've messed up, Jesus is going to reach up into your mess. Here we have Peter leading the disciples away from following Jesus because he's messed up. There are 7 people in that boat. So, Jesus has lost almost half his disciples with Peter over here, unless he can reach out. And so he doesn't want the bride, he doesn't want the church to fall apart, to disintegrate. And so he'll be reaching out. And here he's calling in their mess. The command, he tells them to throw their net on the right-hand side of the boat. He's going to tell them something from the text, something from his word, that if they would obey, they will find their path back. And when we've messed up, we know what it is. We know what Jesus is asking us to do. And if we would do that, we would start feeling him work in our life again. As in this case, the catch. Immediately the net is filled with fish. The comprehension. How did this happen? Suddenly Peter recognizes Jesus and begins swimming toward him. And this is how it happens. It's just in a split second you say, uh-oh, I know what's happened. That was Jesus. He was reaching out. And either you're going to be all upset and filled with pride, or you're going to be very humble and bow down and get back to Jesus as fast as you can. Here are the coals. It's not always comfortable when you have to come back to Jesus. When all the disciples arrive, they find fish frying over a fire and some bread. In this case, Jesus is going to bring Peter back through fellowship, through having a meal with him. We find the count, 153 fish, establishing that this indeed was an incredible miracle. The communion, Jesus now invites them, all 7, to breakfast, and personally he's going to work in their lives to bring them back. And we find the confession. After breakfast, Jesus gives Peter an opportunity to confess his love for Jesus 3 times. We find the text then, around 1, 2, and 3. Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord. You know I love you. Then feed my lambs. And we know that Jesus is saying, do you agape me? And Peter is saying, no, I phileo you. But it doesn't come across in English as strong. Round 2. Jesus saying to Peter, Simon, son of John, do you agape me? Yes, Lord, you know I phileo you. I like you, Lord. I like you as a brother, but I don't know if I can die for you. I thought I could. I thought I could agape you, but I realize, Lord, I'm not just there. I'm not quite there. Then Jesus, round 3, Simon, son of John, do you phileo me? In other words, okay, I get it. You can't die for me, and you know it. But do you love me as a brother? That's all I need right now. Lord, you know everything. Yes, you know I love you. Then Jesus saying, feed my sheep, calling Peter back into ministry. The end is the cross, the concern, the chiding, the confusion, uh, the confirmation eventually. There is a church building that is built on the site where people believed Peter and the disciples were brought back. It's at Tabgha, the church built around John 21. Um, Very beautiful environment, but very hard for Peter. Yet this had to happen in his life. So does Jesus care? Yes, he cares. How do we know he cares? Well, just look at this and look at your own life. So what message is Jesus giving you today? One of guilt or one of hope? Guilt that you'll never make it, you'll never quite be like you are, or hope that when you can't quite make it, he comes down to where you are and he says, you know what, I'll take what you can give me right now, but I know that we're going to grow. Eventually, record of history says Peter was crucified upside down. So he did indeed die the death that Jesus prophesied that he would. And he did eventually die for Jesus, and so can you. And that's my message that I have for you today. I hope that you get something out of it. God bless as you walk in his love.